just volunteering for it. There it is again. She'll just point you out and just say go. But at least I don't have it bad as John Cohen a few years back, where he shows up the day of the conference not knowing anyone. And she looks at him and says, "Oh, hey, how you doing? You're going to do the keynote speech." Okay, good luck. Came home. Yeah. This has been an exciting conference, honestly. It's new, it's crazy. There's new light for every one of us. This is new because the past conferences, we've gone over temporary treatments for the disease. We've tried to figure out how to just simply get around Proteus syndrome and not really been able to face it head on. But this conference is shedding new light. There's hope. There's now potentially light at the end of the tunnel. We could really be on the edge of controlling Proteus syndrome's direction instead of having Proteus syndrome control our direction.
Yeah.
But at the same time, this is also scary. We don't have a crystal ball to know if how these trials are going to turn out. I look at you and I see questions and doubts. Yet, we all know this is what we've been working for the past 18 years. This is the moment we could possibly change things, change the future for people born with this disease and hopefully you all living with Proteus syndrome now. I would like to share during the speech of what it's been like for me growing up around Proteus syndrome. Growing up with this disease in my life has allowed me to experience everyday emotions basically on steroids. My brother is Alex. He was born on June 5th, 1990 and died of a pulmonary embolism on September 20th, 1999. He was 9 years old and he had a very severe case of Proteus syndrome. Me, I became a therapy tool at the age of 2. Alex had physical and occupational therapy about 4 to 6 hours every week at Children's Mercy Hospital. The other therapist would have me demonstrate my amazing abilities to walk and basically teach kids with cerebral palsy and other disorders how to walk. Here it is again, sorry.
Count the M's.
Then they would put me on a stretcher and wheel me up to the 5th floor of the cancer patients. My mom wouldn't see me this entire time, but I, pat myself on the back, was a very talented and underpaid therapist. When I first noticed that my life was a little different than others was when I became aware of people staring at Alex. To me, Alex was just normal, and his wheelchair and big hand didn't bother me at all. He was just my big brother. My mom took us to Disney World in '97, and Alex was 8 or 7 years old, and I had my 6th birthday party at the park, which was quite exciting. I remember Mickey Mouse not drawing as much attention as when my brother would roll by in his wheelchair. I also remember getting ready to tell someone to stop staring at my brother, and then my mom looks at me and says, "Just wait." So as I sat there waiting, watching the guy continuously staring at my brother, all of a sudden, smack right to a tree. That was when I learned the art of timing. During the same trip, we went to SeaWorld, and Alex was spinning around in his wheelchair, and he was actually just trying to sit with the family behind us when we were trying to have lunch. They didn't really find him so cute, so we just went ahead and let him sit at the table, and just so that he could tell about how cool he was. In '97, my mom, Alex, and I flew to the NIH to meet the original crew of the Proteus Foundation. That was quite the group of kids and quite the group of parents. We played, we talked, we hung out, and essentially we became a family. This was the first time that we got to meet Dr. Biesecker and his amazing group. We knew that this first meeting would eventually lead to this meeting today. At the initial meeting, we all decided to go to the zoo. And for many of us that were there, we all remember how well that went on the walk back, and how My mom reminded me of all the kids getting their wheelchairs stuck in the elevator at the metro, and actually all the kids one by one. It's a little embarrassing, but we managed. We spent the day at the zoo, and Sean Henderson carried me on his back to the metro for a journey home. No one really could walk the next day, but hey, it was a good time overall. Meeting these other kids with Proteus syndrome, hanging out at the Children's Inn, meeting Dr. Biesecker and his team was the beginning of an amazing journey for me and my family. Unfortunately, having a brother with a rare disorder comes with all of its battles. My mom had to fight for everything. She's one of the strongest and most courageous and just forthgoing women I've ever met in my entire life. She had to fight for Alex's rights to just even go to a normal school back in Missouri. At the time, we were lucky that the Kansas City Star, hometown newspaper, was doing a large article on our family. The school wouldn't let any of the reporters and photographers go into a meeting that would get Alex into this normal school, which happened to take 20 of the school board members to actually let this happen. The school actually, soon enough, figured out that mom could do just fine getting him placed on her own. Because you say no to mom and you will regret that. When the principal told mom that the bus would pick up Alex after they had dropped off all the other kids at school, she said that's fine as long as he doesn't miss the Pledge of Allegiance. When they told her that he would be about 20 minutes late, she threatened to stand on the roof of her house, naked, until all of the media in the state picked up the story that they were discriminating against her son. Yes, naked. Needless to say, the paper was still running the story for our family, and they took mom rather seriously. Alex made the Pledge of Allegiance. The best part of getting on the bus and riding on this wheelchair bus was it was just me and Alex. We would ride there, just him and I, but to ensure our safety, mom followed the bus in her van all the way to school, every day. The principal actually eventually nominated mom as Parent of the Year for Missouri. There were many funny moments in Alex's life. Alex loved to carry things with him everywhere. He would carry a feather duster, his doll Adelina, his rain stick, hairbrush, and in Les's office, he loved the stethoscope. On a plane ride once, he decided that it was most important for his feather duster to come with him. And I was sitting a few rows behind him, and all of a sudden, you just see this ginormous hand, feather duster, raising up. And he starts feather dusting the roof of the plane. Well, apparently Alex thought that the guy in front of him needed some cleaning too, because he was just feather dusting his head. The guy had a lot of patience. One of Alex's strong suits was that he could hold a grudge, and a lot were against mom. There was a time where mom, only once, gave him spicy barbecue sauce on his food. From then on out, every single meal, Alex always asked, "Mom, does it have that spicy barbecue sauce on it?" "No, Alex, it does not." She had also one time lost control of his wheelchair while walking home from school.
It hit a hole.
She didn't mean to, and a very nice person stopped and helped her get him up. And she told Alex not to tell anyone. He didn't for the weekend. She thought she was in the clear until she picked him up from school on Monday morning when the principal comes up and asks her how the weekend go. And then looked in the journal and noticed that every single one of his teachers had written in there that that's all Alex talked about that day.
He was mean.
I also learned to be an advocate for Alex. One day at Sunday school, a little girl started crying when she saw his hand. Me, at 4 years old, stood up and I told her about Proteus syndrome and that he was born with it and you can't catch it, it's not contagious, and that he's actually a great kid and just wanted to be a firefighter. Alex and I shared a room because his knees were permanently bent and he had trouble rolling himself over. So I would roll him over a few times, put smooth jazz radio on, and then sneak over to mom's room and we'd watch Gargoyles, Roseanne, and Saturday Night Live, where I continuously asked if they were showing real or fake commercials. So you could tell the difference. Mom also had her other classic moments. She'd love to take us to Sesame Street Live every January. And one time, she had Alex sitting on her lap and I was sitting in the wheelchair in the aisle. We were about the 6th row. And my whole family's always told me that I have this, as a kid, this random eject button on my butt, and would just project myself off of any seat at all. So there I was, sitting sixth row in the wheelchair, and all of a sudden, boom, go off. Land on the floor, hit the floor, and Mom did not hesitate for 1 second to yell at me, tell me to get my butt back in the wheelchair and stop jacking around. She didn't stop to think that she had just yelled at the kid in a wheelchair that just fell on the floor to get his butt back in the wheelchair and stop jacking around. Good job, Mom. Through the years, I continued to come to the NIH and grow up with this very unique Proteus Syndrome Foundation family. We are all walking our own crazy paths in life. Not only the Proteus kids themselves, but the siblings, parents, husbands, wives, and grandparents. There have been tears of pain and tears of joy. I have lost Proteus brothers and sisters, but I have gained others. Through it all, Dr. B. Secker never gave up on us. He worked tirelessly to find the cause of this disease. Growing up with a personal hero such as Dr. B. Secker has been an amazing experience. Dr. B. Secker has given me inspiration, hope, and drive in my own personal life. He's also provided laughter when taking a nice spill while skiing up the mountains, but that's another story. My mom founded the Proteus Syndrome Foundation with Barbara and Mary in '91. I grew up stuffing envelopes, folding newsletters, sitting on Mom's lap while typing in newsletters, and also occupying my little brother so that she could actually work. I always thought that when I grew up, I was going to be taking over the Proteus Foundation and continuing this fight until one day we received a package. Mom opened up a box and there was a framed picture of periods, commas, T's, and Y's. Mom called Les and he explained that this picture was actually of Alex's DNA, and went on to explain that they actually found the cause of Proteus syndrome, AKT1. I had spent the night at a friend's house, and when my mom called, she was pretty close to hysterical, just telling me, please come home fast, come home now, come home now. Well, in my head, I was like, oh God, he killed the cat. So I was prepared for anything. Except for when I got home, she sat Ian and I down and explained that Les had found the cause of Proteus syndrome. Not only he found the cause of the syndrome, but that somehow it was related to cancer, and that meant that people would come with drugs and we would possibly find a cure. Now I stand before you, this Proteus family. New friends, old friends, the best kind of friends in the world. We have a drug that might stop Proteus syndrome, and we're being asked to be brave, strong, and take a risk again. We have come from knowing nothing to almost knowing everything about Proteus. We have come from having nothing to having a possible cure. I hate Proteus for all that it's taken from me, but I love it for all the people that it's brought to me. Having it in my life has defined who I am to a very large degree. And this journey has been a rough one, highs and lows of unimaginable degrees. So I thank you, Proteus family, for helping me shape my life.